You're sitting in your car in the driveway. You just got off the phone with them. Your family member, your partner, your friend, whoever it is, and you're not even inside the house yet. But you're already exhausted, completely hollowed out. You said yes again. You don't know why. You knew even as the word came out of your mouth that you'd regret it. But you said it anyway, because somewhere in your nervous system, you've learned that saying no means conflict. And conflict means rejection. And rejection means you lose the relationship, so you say yes. And then you sit in your car and try to remember the last time you didn't feel this tired. That's not weakness. I want you to hear that clearly. That's not some character flaw. That's not proof that you're broken or too sensitive or incapable of handling difficult people. That is one of the most deeply human things there is. The desperate need to keep the peace, to be accepted, to hold it all together so no one leaves. But here's what nobody tells you. The problem isn't that you care about the relationship.
But the boundary needs clarity.
The problem is that somewhere along the way, you were taught that keeping the relationship means abandoning yourself. That's the lie we're dismantling today. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it using a philosophy that has been battle-tested for over 2,000 years. Not by therapists in an office, but by people under real, brutal, daily pressure. Today we're covering 6 Stoic strategies for setting boundaries without guilt, without apology, and without losing yourself in the process. Stay until the end. Because number 6 is the most counterintuitive shift in this entire video. It's the one that changes everything. And almost nobody actually does it right. Let's get into it. Here's a scene you might recognize. Someone in your life is upset. Maybe they're having a hard week, or they're in a spiral, or they're just always in a storm. And the moment you walk into the room, or even just pick up the phone, you feel it. Their mood lands on you like a weather system. And before you say a word, you're already scrambling to fix it. You absorb it. You carry it. You stay up at night thinking about how to make them feel better. And somewhere in that process, you forget to ask, was this mine to carry in the first place? Epictetus, a man who was born into slavery and lived most of his early life in chains, understood this better than almost anyone. He had every reason to be consumed by the chaos around him. But what he taught was this: there is a clear line between what belongs to you and what doesn't. Your thoughts, your responses, your choices. Those are yours. Other people's emotions, their reactions, their moods, their inner storms, those are not yours to fix, carry, or absorb. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. And it's not a concept, it's a survival skill. When you feel that familiar pull to take responsibility for someone else's emotional state, pause, ask yourself, is this actually mine? Did I cause this? Is it my job to solve it? Most of the time, the honest answer is no. And the moment you recognize that, really recognize it, you create the first boundary, the one that lives inside you. Before you even open your mouth, you can love someone deeply and still not carry what isn't yours. Those two things are not in conflict. You finally say it. You tell them you can't make it, or that you need space, or that what they said wasn't okay, and then the reaction. The silence. The guilt trip, the dramatic exit. The fine, I guess that's how it is. The tears, the anger, maybe all of the above. And immediately you feel it. That surge of panic. The urge to take it back, soften it. Apologize for having a need in the first place. This is where most people collapse their own boundary. Not because they were forced to, but because they can't tolerate watching someone else feel hurt. Marcus Aurelius ran an empire. He dealt with generals who betrayed him, senators who plotted against him, family members who manipulated him. And in his private journals, notes he wrote to himself, never meant for anyone else to read, he returned to one idea over and over. You cannot control how someone receives what you say. You can only control what you say and why you say it. Their reaction is their response to reality. It is not a verdict on you. When someone reacts badly to your boundary, they are not proving that your boundary was wrong. They are revealing how accustomed they've become to having no boundary at all. That's important. Read it again. Their discomfort with your limit is not evidence that your limit is unfair. It's evidence of how much they've come to rely on you having none. You are not responsible for managing someone else's reaction to your self-respect. That's not cruelty. That's clarity. Think about the last time you tried to set a boundary. How did you phrase it? So sorry, I know this is terrible timing. I feel awful about this, but maybe if it's okay, I might need to, I don't know. You over-explained. You pre-apologized. You softened it until the original message was almost invisible. And what happened? They pushed back. Or they didn't take it seriously. Or they found the crack in your language and walked right through it. Here's the truth. The way you say something tells the other person how seriously to take it. Seneca wrote extensively about how we waste our words on performance. We talk around what we mean. We dress up our requests in so many qualifications that the core message suffocates. A boundary spoken with hesitation sounds like an invitation to negotiate. A boundary spoken clearly sounds like a fact. I'm not available for that. I won't be doing that. That doesn't work for me. No lengthy explanation. No guilt attached. No permission requested. You don't owe someone a detailed justification for your own limits. You don't need their approval to have them. Now, this doesn't mean be cold. It doesn't mean be harsh. It means trust your own voice enough to let your words land. The most powerful thing you can say is a sentence you actually mean. Said once. That's where boundaries become real. If this kind of wisdom is landing for you right now, go ahead and hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel more than you know. And if you want this kind of real practical stoicism in your life every week, just hit subscribe. Takes 2 seconds. All right, let's keep going. Number 4. Here's one of the sneakiest traps in boundary setting. You tell yourself, I'll say something when I feel more confident, when I'm calmer, when the timing is right, when I'm completely sure. And so you wait, and the situation gets worse, and the cost of staying silent keeps going up, and you still don't feel ready. Here's what nobody tells you. The courage doesn't come before the action. It comes because of the action. Epictetus put it plainly. He didn't say, wait until the fear is gone. He said the obstacle is the path. You don't train for the hard conversation by avoiding it. You train by having it, imperfectly, with a voice that shakes, and surviving it. The person who keeps walking through your boundary isn't doing it because they don't hear you. They're often doing it because they've learned you won't follow through every time you override your own discomfort and enforce the limit anyway. You are teaching 2 things. You're teaching them what to expect from you, and you're teaching yourself that you can handle this. That second lesson is the more important one. You will not feel completely ready. Do it anyway. The version of you who finally says something won't be fearless, but they'll be free. Somewhere deep in your programming, there's a belief doing serious damage, the belief that love means unlimited access, that real care means saying yes always, that if you love someone, you don't get to have limits. And so every time you set a boundary, it feels like a betrayal, like you're withholding something, like you're not a good enough partner, friend, sibling, child. That story is not love. That story is fear wearing love's clothes. Marcus Aurelius loved deeply his wife, his people, his colleagues. But he also held himself to an iron standard. He wrote about this constantly. True care for others does not mean dissolving yourself into them. It means showing up as someone whole. You cannot give from empty. You cannot be a stable presence for someone when you've let them systematically drain everything out of you. When you set a boundary, you are not removing love. You are protecting the conditions under which love can actually survive. Think about it this way. A river doesn't stop being a river because it has banks. The banks are what make it a river at all. Remove the banks and you don't have a stronger river. You have a flood. Your limits are not walls that keep people out. They're the structure that lets the relationship hold something real. The relationships that can survive you having needs. Those are the ones worth fighting for. The ones that only work when you have none. That's not love. That's consumption. Here's the part almost no one tells you. And it might be the thing that shifts everything. Most people think of boundaries as defensive, as something you build against someone. A wall, a rejection, a fight. And so every time you try to set one, it feels like an act of aggression, like you're declaring war, like you're the difficult one. That framing is completely backwards. A boundary is not something you build against someone else. A boundary is the declaration of who you are. When you set a limit, when you say this is not okay for me, you are not attacking the other person. You are returning to yourself. You're stating the terms of your own existence. You're remembering who you were before this relationship taught you to shrink. Epictetus spent his early years literally in chains. And what he arrived at, through that experience, through that suffering, was this: no one can take your inner freedom from you. They can take everything else, your time, your comfort, your circumstances. but they cannot reach the part of you that decides who you are. When you stop enforcing your own limits, you hand that part of yourself over voluntarily. You give away the one thing that was never theirs to take. Here's the counterintuitive shift. The boundary isn't the end of closeness. It's the beginning of authentic connection. Because the moment you stop playing a role, the agreeable one, the one who never complains, the one who holds it all together at any cost, the relationship either grows into something real, or it reveals it was never built on something real to begin with. Both of those outcomes are better than what you have now. A relationship that only functions when you have no needs is not a relationship. It's an arrangement. And you are paying for it with yourself. The boundary is not about them. It never was. It's about coming home to who you actually are. And no relationship, no matter how much history you share, no matter how much you love them, is worth the cost of losing that. Let's bring it all together. 6 strategies. 6 ways back to yourself. 1. Know what's actually yours to carry and release the rest. 2. Stop treating their reaction to your limits as your responsibility. 3. Speak like someone who believes what they're saying. Say it once. Say it clearly. 4. Stop waiting to feel ready. Do it scared. Do it shaking. Do it anyway. 5. Let go of the lie that boundaries destroy love. They protect it. 6. The boundary is not a weapon aimed at someone else. It's a return to yourself. You don't need to master all 6 of these today. Pick one. The one that hit hardest. The one where you thought, yeah, that's the one I actually need. Practice it this week. Just 7 days. Just that one. That's the whole assignment. You were not put here to make yourself smaller so other people would feel more comfortable. Your peace was never theirs to take. It was always yours to reclaim. Thank you, genuinely, for staying until the end. That means something. This stuff isn't easy to sit with. The fact that you're here, looking for a way through, says everything about who you are. I'll see you in the next one.